So let's kickstart this Making Tax Digital, because it's a big thing coming up. I know that some of you on this call have put a lot of thought into this already, and some of you have put a lot of worry into this. So who would like to kickstart the conversation this morning with this whole Making Tax Digital? Who's done some work on it so far would like to start the conversation? Let's see somebody come in and say, hey, I'd like to start the conversation this morning. No one volunteering? Matt, can we hear your voice?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to start first? Because I know that you think things through. So what do you?
I'm a member of another group, an international group of accounting firms, independent accounting firms, and this was raised a couple of weeks ago, including the email that was sent out by the institutes in relation to tax avoidance schemes. It was all kind of brought under the one umbrella, and these firms are all very large firms, and they're all very much concerned by what's happening and the impact it's going to have on the profession. And what we've seen is collusion of the various institutes with HMRC on this subject matter. Now, one of the people that was in attendance was actually involved in the Institute of Chartered Accountants in England and Wales and the negotiations with HMRC. And basically, it can be distilled down to the institutes have actually been told that they have to fall into line or the government will just legislate. So I think we're on a road towards this digitalisation of tax and everything else that we're not going to get out of, because the government are going to force it through, just like APNs and everything else. So our task, as I see it, is how are we going to operate and survive in this new age of digitalisation of tax and everything else, and how do we maintain a relevance to ensure economic survival?
Okay, good questions. And Matt, what are some of the answers that have come up with you guys already so far?
The answers are none. It's kind of still blind panic. We need to get our acts together and find out what we're going to do, because we do. The general consensus was that we're on this path and there ain't no way of getting off it. So how do we maintain relevance, and how do we make ourselves as used to the clients when tax returns and everything else are going to be getting directly correlated through various means within HMRC? So how do we fit in, and what does our service look like in the future when this happens?
Okay.
I don't know the answer to that.
So does anybody else on this call this morning have a thought or an answer to that one?
It's Jeff here. We've taken a more, exactly, we've reached the same conclusion that it's going to happen. We've also maybe just broken it down to its more simplistic thing, which really it's no more than a big fancy VAT return. That's all it's going to be. So how would we, and we've approached it in the same way we do VAT returns. So we want to make them, they've got to be done quickly, they've got to be done accurately, and what we've realised is at the end of, there won't be a sort of, although there is that sort of fifth return that goes in to sort of correct all the crap that's gone in before, you're just going to make any client open up to sort of special investigation if they start, more stuff goes through. So we've realised that we need to have a tax strategy that is clearly defined before the event, and with that in place, we'll then work on quarterly figures to go it through. We see this as a likely sort of change in practice in two ways. We expect our bookkeeping practice to because it's along the lines of a bookkeeping type thing, to grow significantly. So actually we see that as a major a fantastic opportunity, literally amazing gift that the government have given us. And you know, we're estimating, hoping for a very, very significant rise in that. As far as the core practice, basic accounts practice, we expect we will be acting for less clients but of higher value. So on a quarterly basis, that sort of review of the figures, see what's in, does it meet the strategy, and actually gives you an opportunity to get much more sort of hand into the business and give very, very fresh, up-to-date advice. So we're looking at systems that will allow us to do that. We also see there will be, and I'm going to use the word umbrella companies, but not in a tax aggressive way, but because of the significant burden associated with this for small businesses, we see an umbrella company solution to be probably applicable for quite a large number of quite small clients. So we're looking at a system to do that, and I plan to sort of speak to sort of your traditional umbrella organised companies and see how they're doing it, how they work, if there's a way of working together, how we can add value that way. So there's a few opportunities. We also see there'll be a number of clients who don't want to pay £60 an hour for bookkeeping service, so they want to pay for 15, and they want to pay 15, and we're not going to be able to act for them. So there'll be a sort of some disengagement, which is fine. So that's how we are approaching it. We're producing our own information booklet on it, which will be used to sort of help people through the process, and in the short term, looking at it as a way of people producing accurate quarterly management accounts that we can add value to, we can advise on, and that way actually get ingrained into businesses and actually show we're adding value at a much earlier stage than we have in the past, where we tend to be a bit historic. So there's a few areas there that I've seen it's gonna happen. I completely agree with views. I sit on the ACCA Global Tax Forum, and that's exactly what's happened. This is not up for discussion. This is happening, and we've been told the reason it's happening is that when people paid their PAY electronically monthly, they found out that companies employing less than 50 people, they got an 8% increase in tax take. Which is so some sort of behavioural economics of doing things promptly, quickly, actually allows the revenue to collect more tax. So it's quite obvious the basis of wanting to get this information in quickly.
Can I interject something on that?
Of course.
At the Scottish Institute General Practitioners Conference at the tail end of last year, HMRC attended it. And there was, I'll exaggerate just for the drama of the story, there was nearly a riot as HMRC announced that their aim was to cut all of us out and to have direct reporting from accounting packages to them, not through us. Now, I can see that not everybody's going to be able to do that, but I don't think it takes a great step change in your mindset to say HMRC are the ones that are in power. If you've got Xero or everybody else that are directed that their systems have got to report on a quarterly basis or a monthly basis or a daily basis to some machine somewhere, it can happen. So I think I'm not disagreeing with anything that's been said, but I think that we've got to look a wee bit further than that, because I think that our landscape is going to change, that the accounting packages are going to be reporting directly to the HMRC machine, and I don't think that that's a million miles away.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to be 2018, but I think it's round the corner.
No, I agree with that, which is why, as far as the increasing in our bookkeeping company, we've recently become gold partners of Xero, and it's exactly for that purpose. We see, I mean, there's various bits of strategy. I sort of gave a sort of brief summary, but one of the things we plan to do is to, or we expect to be doing, is to looking after a significant more number of clients' complete bookkeeping. So their complete bookkeeping will be outsourced to us. Now that will be mixed in with obviously using Xero, using Receipt Bank, and giving much more sort of KPI advice of Bench Crunch or something, whatever it's called. So we see a sort of a much more sort of hand-holding benefit. We produced a report about how much it's going to cost you to outsource your bookkeeping to us, and actually how it's going to save money. So we've done. Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's going to be very, very short term from the source. So therefore, we need to control the source.
Okay, thanks very much for that. Matt, any other points there, or shall we move on to somebody else for now?
No, I think we should bring in someone else. I think we're largely in agreement where this is going to go, but this is a train coming, you know, and being aware of it is still going to make us safe. We need to do something.
Absolutely. And as with most things, there's definitely opportunities with it as well. Okay, so do we have someone else who wants to volunteer with a question or a point they want to make, or shall I call on individuals to come in and share their viewpoint? Okay, Rob or Pratima, I'm not quite sure which one of you is on the line this morning.
It's me, Pratima.
Hi, Pratima. Welcome on.
Hi, how are you?
Great, and you?
Sorry, I've just joined you 2 minutes ago.
No problem. So share with us, what are your thoughts on this, and if anything, what have you guys done so far with this?
Tax Digital. Well, I know that is coming in 2018 for the smaller businesses. I understand that the accounting software such as Sage and Xero are gearing up to being able to submit quarterly reports to the revenue as required. I also know that landlords have to also submit quarterly. I'm not sure what are the accounting, the software, you know, we use Digita now. I'm not sure how geared they are, and I need to have a talk with them. We just moved from Iris to Digita in August, so I will be speaking to them. As far as making clients aware, it'll be something that we need to do in 2017. We need to start planting the seeds to clients, and probably firstly through a sort of mail merge, and then just talking to them on a one-to-one basis as to their needs and what they will do, what they want us to do. So that's as far you know, that we are with Tax Digital. Who was the speaker? Who was the person speaking before?
There was Matt and Jeff. Jeff is they've done it quite a bit already and said about the bookkeeping company. Is it who you're thinking about?
Yeah, so Matt was. Sorry, Rudy. Who is Matt?
Me. My name's Matt Donnelly. I'm based in Glasgow.
Okay, and it was the other chappie was Jeff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was Jeff. Is he from is he an accountant or bookkeeping or sorry?
We got both.
Oh, both.
We've got a core practice in Barnet and a bookkeeping practice in Hitchin.
Okay. Okay. And so you were saying that if your clients couldn't afford to take up your services, you were happy to not act for them?
Yeah, I think acting sort of passively, where they're submitting their own stuff, not properly reviewed, not debtors reviewed, not stock checked, all this on a quarterly basis. I think it's just a recipe for a really cock up series of massive investigations. Yeah. It's just not clear. So and it doesn't need to be horrendously expensive for us just to sort of give it a review. I mean, actually, in all proposals I've been sending out for the last 4 weeks, I've had a paragraph about this and saying we don't know what's going to happen, but expect a cost of circa £500 a quarter. Just because I thought that was useful, just to just to flag it and get people's mind about it.
Yeah, no, you're right. We need to plant the seeds now, and you know, I agree with you, Jeff. If the clients think, oh, we can do this via our software, I think it is without us reviewing it on a quarterly basis. I think we are going to end up in a big of a mess, and it's going to be more costly for them in the long term. So. Yeah.
And it's just not very proactive, is it? It's all a bit reactive and not. Yeah. So I think that's the view. That's the view we've taken. No, well, you can't be right for everybody. And the report, there was a report in a County Age report a few days ago which said, I think it was something along the lines of customers should expect the average fee to go, or the cost of implementing Make Tax Digital is going to be about £2,700 per company. So there is a so all I did was multiply that by a number of clients to react for and had a little smile on my face. But yeah, so that's, I don't know if that's where it's going to go, but that's how. I think in the
short term there will be you know, increased cost for the clients, but I think overall in the long term, once they get into the swing of it, I think you know 3 years down the line it will even out. But you know, yeah, they should. I think we need to monitor it, but obviously at a cost, because you know it will be a cost to us initially as well.
Can I interject something in that? But my concern now, please don't think I'm being pessimistic. I'm just trying to think of the angles, right? But my concern is, if you think of all the startups that are going to be coming on, they're going to be starting up and coming into a different world than we've got it today, right? So there's going to be advancements, and it's going to be down the line. Now, an established business having an additional cost of £2,700 for yet another administration for the government. And that's what we've got to bear in mind. There's no operational advantage to them. This is administration costs that they've got to incur to service the government, right? That is erosive to any business. And at some point there's a cut-off what people can afford and what people can pay. And already things are tight enough in terms of their administration costs and bureaucracy for them. Now my point is this: Xero and all the rest of them, we've been doing quite a good job in selling their wares to the marketplace. But they've not got any loyalty to us. Their loyalty is to themselves and to their software. Now, under collaboration with the government and making sure that they're getting there, I think what we're going to see is more and more and more this becoming self-sufficient in the hands of the companies and the taxpayer, with direct feeding into them. And see if the information's wrong. Does it really matter? I can remember at a time when Companies House were sending out letters saying this is wrong in the accounts you've lodged and that is wrong in the accounts you've lodged. I've not seen a letter like that in 100 years. Nobody cares anymore. The world's moved on, it's changed. If the set of accounts are wrong in terms of disclosures, nobody gives a damn. All they're interested in is collecting money. And I think we're going to see swiftly a move from us being involved to people just pumping it in and getting an answer. Now, there will be people that want to get it right, there will be other people that want to save money. It's how do we remain relevant to a customer base, given the fact that online is here and they can just get it direct from Xero right into the Treasury's accounting systems.
But Matt, if rubbish information is submitted on a quarterly basis, their revenues information, the revenues computer is going to populate that, and they're going to rub, altogether year-end rubbish figures, which will cause it'll be a disaster.
No, it's not. It's going to accelerate money to them. It's going to accelerate payment to them. What they're wanting is, they're wanting people in for it. They want real-time information. They want it on a daily basis. Yeah. So they can check, they can collect their tax on a monthly basis, a quarterly basis, and it'll accelerate it. The fact that it's not correct doesn't matter. It's not correct just now. It doesn't matter. They just want to speed up the process of getting cash. Now, how do we remain dwelling on that? I'll tell you, KPMG had a contract with the Bank of Scotland in Glasgow. And they submitted all the tax returns of wealthy individuals for the Bank of Scotland. And the guy that ran that for KPMG was employed in this office at one time. And I asked him a question, and the question was this. And all the tax returns that KPMG did for the Bank of Scotland, submitting them to HMRC, how many of them were correct? And his answer was, none. None. They don't care if they're right or wrong.
So Matt, this is
want the money.
Matt, this is can I jump in here? This is Rudy here. I'm saying my name first so you know who I am. I do agree with you that revenue don't mind what the numbers are because they get the money. But for the person submitting that information, me as a business owner, if there's a fear that by submitting my own numbers, I'm shooting myself in the foot because essentially I'm going to end up paying more tax in the long run, would that not drive me to stop submitting my own numbers as far as possible and rather go to my accountant and say, hey, do me a favor, save me tax because I know I'm doing this wrong. Maybe I've done this for a year or so and maybe I've messed up and I don't actually know how much I've messed up, but it's probably cost me more than what it should have. Can you save me money even if it cost me a bit more with you? And I'm wondering
Of course there will, Rudy. Of course that will happen. But there'll also be other ones that will say 2,700 for that number, right? I'm not saying it's that. 2,700 per annum. You know what? I'm not paying that. I'll take my chances. I know better. And there'll be some getting themselves into a mess. But it's the big thing is, you know, like Sage tried this a long time ago and went direct to the marketplace. You know, Xero have been a wee bit cleverer, and my frustration is I told people that this is where this was going to happen, and this is why we had to capture clients on Xero. KPMG haven't spent the amount of money that they've spent for any other reason than people are going to be prepared to just put their entries in, hope they're right, and spit it out the other side.
Okay.
Seriously. So we need to think, what else can we be doing? And I know the value-added services that we've thought about, but it's going to change. I'm not gloom and doom. There's still going to be something there, but it's not going to be the way we've known it. It's not going to be like that.
Okay, Matt, thanks very much. Okay, so we do agree with you. So let's move on to find out who else has thought about some solutions. Yes, I know, Jeff, you mentioned, you know, you're quite happy to lose a few clients if you have to. You've thought about a pricing point, roughly. Let's bring in some other people and hear what your thoughts are, especially around solutions and how you can bring this to your clients. So Tony, for some reason it looks like I can't seem to unmute you, and it says you need to enter your PIN. So if you could do that, to be great. Otherwise, I might just have to do a chat with you. But Stephen, let's go to you. What has been happening with you guys? Where are your thoughts at this stage of the game?
We've just, me, Liz and Eric, have just been discussing, like Matt and Jeff have already said, how the landscape's going to change and how our role is going to change. I mean, we do see our role more as in the future with the bookkeeping and then the advice role, because the improvement in the bookkeeping and should give us more time to do other things for the client. So we're looking at adding value in other ways. It's just that we're not really sure on exactly how just yet.
Okay. Good. Okay, thanks for sharing that. Aftab, let's bring you in. I think we had a lot of noise from your background before, so from my side, Aftab, you're unmuted. If you just unmute yourself from your side as well, we can bring you in as well. Or just type in anything you have there as well. Tony, it would seem like your phone is back on, so Tony, you should be on.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, let's go with. Let's go with Aftab first. Aftab, we've definitely got background noise with you there. So
yeah, I'm at a public place. Sorry, I mean just there is too much noise. I can hear myself.
Okay, so in that case,
I'm just listening to.
Okay, Aftab, sorry, I've muted you back because it's too much noise there. So if you want to type your question in, that'll be great. Tony, let's bring you in because we can hear you as well now. So Tony, share with us,
Hi.
where are you
Can you hear me?
at? Yes. What are your thoughts and where are you guys at then?
Well, obviously, with the introduction in 2018, I've kind of decided that I'd like to get a lot of my clients into it in 2017, ideally April 17 onwards or halfway through that year if need be. So I've been talking to clients about the introduction. My biggest worry is it's going to be a bit like RTI, where they started off with a set of rules and then changed them all at the last moment. So we took everyone down one path, and then the government kind of gave a lot of exemptions, which meant clients wanted the exemptions then. So, well, you know, the biggest fear in this is that no one tells us the final rules until the last possible moment. So I'm working on the basis of the consultation at the moment. So my view is, like Jeff said, my biggest fear is that clients file 4 effectively returns, and then the 5th one, the final one, has a lot of adjustments in, and it's just open to inquiry. So I'm saying to my clients, you really need to be filing quarterly returns which are indicative of your year-end profit. So as Jeff said, it's tax strategy. So I'm sending out, well, I've started putting together an email to clients with a view to saying what this is, ramifications for them, and scare the living daylights out of them.
Excellent.
Rudy, could I throw something in? And I don't want to hog this, and I know that people find it difficult to follow my accent in any case.
Okay, Matt.
A wee thought there, right? One of the best things that happened to us in terms of making a few quid was self-assessment tax returns. And we were ahead of the game, and we actually got a database that was still operational today and still works today, commissioned for handling it. When other accountancy practices, nobody knew what was going on, the software companies weren't producing one. Now, we had a really step advantage in everybody else in the marketplace. And that step advantage we had was a woman called Betty Glancy. Now, Betty Glancy came from Ireland, who already had self-assessment. So we got all our stuff designed that we did ourselves so that we could operate it painlessly. We did, and we made a right few quid because we could charge clients because the big bad government had now made this the law, and we've just got to follow suit, so it's nothing to do with us. And whereas we'd actually been given tax returns away for nothing, we started charging for them, and so it was great. But here's my point. Everybody on the phone and on this session seems to be convinced that this is going to happen. Right? And we're all get different views on it. But probably if we got together and there was some sort of organised brainstorming, maybe with a day away somewhere, I don't know, something that we could get it down and get everybody's understanding increased early in 2017, and hopefully be in a position where individually we come away with a wee bit more of a rounded view in what our strategy is going to be. But I do think we need to act quickly on it, because I think it's coming, and if we're in sooner than other firms, so much the better, because there'll be plenty of accountancy firms out there have never heard of Making Tax Digital. Plenty of them. They'll just do a self-assessment, he comes in and says, oh, what is this? And people get caught in the hole. But maybe with a pooled brain power, we could all end up with something better. And maybe it's worth investing a day, obviously, for you to organise, Rudy.
Okay, thanks, Matt. We'll look at that, and potentially even one of the group sessions we might touch on it. Okay, Tony, just going back to you. You said that you're thinking about bringing this in 2017 already. So have you got a bit...
Well, I mean, my personal view is I think it'll be put back, because I just think it's too close. To get in April 18 is just, I mean, not the institutes haven't even, no one's agreed on what the final format's going to be. So my feeling is it'll be pushed back a year. So I've got a bit of fear of I mean, I'm well of the view that we have to kind of push this at the moment on the basis it's going to happen. But I've got a fear that it'll just be, we'll drive it up the hill and then suddenly it'll just stop for a year. But at least then we've done most of the work, haven't we? So you can't. Well, how else can we do it? That's the issue.
I think you're bang on. I think we'll get pushed back as well, but I think it's a good remarketing thing for us just now if we get in early enough and we've got an offer and we can say we're ahead of the game.
Well, that's exactly. I'm saying to clients, the only way this is going to work if you have some kind of cloud accounts, because they're saying that the records are going to be on computer. That's the other thing that people are forgetting. Is computerized accounts. They're saying that Excel is not computer, so you're looking at some cloud accounts, and therefore why not get our clients on early? And my biggest issue probably up here in the northwest is price point, which is what Matt said earlier, and I think maybe the marketplace is a bit different down south, but you know, to get a small business, a window cleaner, you know, paying X amount per month, they're not going to do it. So in the end, we're faced with, as Jeff said, letting those clients go and just maybe going after a better type of client.
Okay, good. I think everyone has put their opinion so far, except for Aftab, who I'm keeping muted because of the background noise. And Aftab, if you do have something to add here, then please do type it in. I'll read out your chat message. So what I'm looking for here is practical steps forwards. So let me raise some of the notes I've made here and just mention them. And if I've missed anything, then please jump in and let us know. So some of the ones I've circled here, I think what Tony just said there about the cloud accounting is going to be a big thing. And Jeff's mentioned that's one of the reasons why they've gone to the whole zero goal partnership. So obviously making that a big thing. Tony mentioned that he wants to bring things in earlier rather than later. Pratima mentioned about using or getting the message out there through mail merge and also a one-on-one basis. And Tony mentioned about, I can't exactly remember the words he used, but it's scaring the heck out of his clients with this message. Jeff mentioned about, you know, the whole umbrella company solution and speaking to people who are already doing that, finding out what they can learn from there. Jeff mentioned also about already getting the message out there, planting the seed that potentially this is going to work out to an extra £500 per quarter, just say planting the seeds there. And as Jeff mentioned, he read that potentially small business is going to have an extra £2,700 a year added as a result of this. Have I missed any other major implementation ideas that are relevant to this that anybody can bring to the table here for us?
Rudy, I'd ask the question. Rudy?
Yes?
Hi, it's Tony. So, has anyone, I mean, I've started putting together an email to clients, which is, I've just picked up a bit of Google searching about, you know, has anyone found a very good document, a concise document on making tax digital for clients, rather than piecing together information from everywhere?
No, I haven't. I think, yeah, you'll have to piece it a bit from here and there and everywhere. I think the problem is, I know there's consultation earlier. There was a consultation early last year, and there was webinars, you know, about tax digital. Then it's become a bit silent as well now. And I think, Tony, you were worried that in next year they're going to possibly delay it because they haven't got their act together in terms of implementing it. And so this is another concern. They are silent, and you don't want to tell clients one thing and then something else, you know, is then implemented, like the RTI scenario. They had all these rules, and then later on, near to implementation, they sort of changed the rules. And that's another, you know, worry, you know, about telling clients that until HMRC tells us what they expect from us, you know, all the clients, we can't educate our clients.
Yeah. Because the other things, I mean, from my point of view, I mean, that sounds very collegiate. We're all individual firms, but we're all exactly going to be doing exactly the same thing. We all want some kind of information strategy to the client, a kind of a plan to kind of tell them what's going on, reasons why they should be, you know, getting involved early, you know, agreeing, you know, costs that are in the marketplace, and then a plan going forward, and maybe, you know, and the use of different software and how we bring that information in. I think Jeff, to be honest, is because he's got a bookkeeping company. I think you're probably further up the track on that. So you're you've probably got those systems in place already. But the rest of us, I think, are, well, it's the same thing, isn't it? So Matt suggested a day whether that's I mean, at the end of the day, we'll all want the same solution, I think, or relatively the same solution. Just, you know, so.
Yeah, and definitely once we're closer to it, if you want, then we can get together and arrange something like that. Absolutely.
In response, Rudy, to the comment, because I think the comment's absolutely valid about the rules going to get changed. We can't control that. But we can talk to our clients, we can tell them our understanding at this time, we can tell them what our strategy is, and if they change the rules we can then tell the client and then you change the rules. They're not going to be overly surprised about that. And anybody that we're speaking to just now, we always give the health warning whenever the government's involved. This may well change. And we've been telling people that it probably won't be 2018 because they'll not be ready. Because they're never ready.
Absolutely. So we did have a question also from Aftab, where specifically, what about the small clients like taxi drivers, etc.? So I know at the bigger end we're saying to people, you know what, if you don't want to pay this, then move on from our practice. But is that going to be the approach for everyone, or what are your thoughts about the very small businesses?
If they're willing to pay the price, then, you know, we'll act for them. But if they're not, then yeah, they have to go elsewhere. I mean, we're fortunate enough to have a back office in India, so hopefully our costs will be relatively, you know, it'll be cheaper. But nevertheless, it is extra work that's required on a quarterly basis. But you know, I understand no businesses are exempted. All businesses are required to file quarterly. So it has to, you know, it will apply to the taxi drivers. I don't know.
So that's Tony. Am I understanding the small business is £10,000 turnover, which there's not going to be many of them.
Yeah, I don't even know if there was a threshold.
No, there was £10,000 was muted. I think they're talking about moving that up, but it's gross income, so it's not profit. It's gross income. So I think that they're not going to be many.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So
to be honest, if you've got clients, you know, to be honest, £10,000 clients, you know, it's maybe we should be doing them anyway. £10,000 turnover.
Just had just Jeff has emailed me a document here from QuickBooks on this topic, so I'll get that out to all of you after this. Well, thank you very much, Jeff, for sharing that.
Oh, thanks, Jeff.
It's a bit of information in there, so that's great. And also, Jeff has raised a point here, Matt, aligned to what you were saying, that potentially, or Jeff, you're unmuted, so do you want to raise your question yourself? Or
I just wondered, I mean, as obviously we're meeting on the 8th, I just wondered if it's worth sort of having a couple of hours afterwards just to sort of go through what we're thinking. It's quite nice face-to-face, and I think I found this very useful, and as it's this is the biggest thing ever that's hit our profession, yeah, the more chatting about it, the more we can get for me, getting my mind in order about what we need to do. So yeah, I don't know if anyone else is happy to stay on the 8th, but another couple of hours or something, or break another couple of hours. To me, I'd be delighted to do that if we're all together.
Or just before anybody answers, potentially, because what we normally have in the middle of the day somewhere is the educational type slot or hot seat type slot. So potentially we could change that and focus specifically on this, so we could have at least 2 to 3 hours available during the day for this topic if people are interested. So what are your thoughts?
Yes.
Yes, Tony, yes, I'm up for that, yeah.
Tony, you say yes. Pratima, for you guys?
Robert will be coming to the session. I'm sure he won't mind.
Okay.
You know, our plan is to start writing next year, so.
Okay, Matt, I'm taking it you guys would be okay with that because it was one of your suggestions.
Hello there, Matt has had to leave the room.
Okay,
My
that's
name is
fine.
Betty Glancy. Hello
Okay.
there, everyone. Am I getting this right? Are you planning to have an all-together meeting on a face-to-face basis, or wanted to have another conference call? I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure what we're referring to there.
No, don't worry. I'll speak to Matt directly because we are meeting up in any case on the 8th of December, and we might do it as a topic on that day. But it was actually Matt's suggestion, so I'm sure he'd be up for that.
Yes,
Thanks.
well, he's coming on the 8th of December, and we just wanted to be sure of that.
Yes.
What might be an idea is we've all people's opinions, ideas, thoughts, concerns this morning. Perhaps the people who have been involved could email to you their main topics so that when you do meet on the 8th of December, there's a specific agenda to do with the topics coming out of this.
Okay, fantastic. And then Stephen, let's move on to you. Would this be good for you guys, or would you go with that?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right, so Jeff, so if we do it potentially during the day, it might be an idea as well then.
Right.
So potentially we do it during the day on the 8th of December as our, to replace our educational slot then.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, good.
Yeah, two things, Rudy. See, in terms of the comment about, you know, everybody trolling Google trying to get the same information, is there anybody well advanced in information they've got to save people all going and spending all the same hours and doing it? We could maybe get a look at it in advance before the 8th of December so that when we turn up, we know more than just how to spell. Tax digital.
Absolutely. Okay. All right, so I will coordinate that then so that on the 8th of December we can be as far forward as possible with this then. Matt, you also mentioned that you are part of another group of accountants where you have touched on this topic already. How far have people moved forwards there with it already, or are they still all in panic stage?
They're pretty much in panic stage and swearing quite a lot. They are mainly big firms. You know, we're the wee minnow firm in comparison with these people. They're kind of big firms, you know, 20 million and 30 million, 10 million turnover firms. But they're all very much concerned with this. There's nobody saying this is the right thing, and a lot of them have got, you know, specialisations, corporate finance and solvency. That they've got a lot of strengths to their bow, but they see this as a wider threat than just, you know, reporting. They see it as a wider threat.
Okay. Thanks very much for that. Okay, so unless anyone else has anything else to raise at this stage of the game, I don't know if there's anything more to be said this morning as such.
I hadn't thought of that point, but that's an amazing point just came up, because the consequences of a liquidation, if you're submitting information from accounts on a quarterly basis, and then there's going to be a liquidation, that will massively to lift up the value of incorporation, won't it? It will actually show any overdrawn position. I hadn't even considered that, but that's a really good reason why people need to control their bookkeeping. Sorry, I just thought that was a really good point about liquidation, mixing liquidation or the consequence of liquidation with producing information on a quarterly basis. That is a really powerful reason why that needs to be properly controlled by experts, isn't it?
Good stuff. Okay, let's just go through the list here. Jeff, anything else that you want to raise or add or ask at this stage of the game?
No, that's great. Thank you.
Good. Stephen, from your side?
No, that's fine.
Good. Matt, anything else at this point in time?
No, really appreciate everybody's input. I think it's very helpful.
Good stuff. Pratima?
No, I'm fine.
I think we're going to have to kidnap you and bring you along to the meeting on the 8th with Rob, eh?
Do that.
Absolutely.
A hostage.
Good stuff. And Tony, from your side?
No, I'm fine, thanks. That's great.
Good stuff. Okay, so I will, with Jordan's help as well, coordinate that on the 8th of December. We'll get into more detail with this topic with everybody at that room, or in the room there. And I think Jordan sent me a message the other day saying that he's expecting potentially about 20 people in the room on that day, which I think is a bit higher than it's probably going to be, but there should be a fair amount of input available then for us. Good. All right, everyone. Hey, fantastic touching on this topic this morning. Wish you all a great rest of the day and rest of the week as well then.